Good morning. Today is the 6th of August 2024 and I'm going to go over my watch list and my trading plan for today. As always, before we start, let's take a look and see what news could be moving the market today. We had some news coming at 8:30. We saw a bit of a negative reaction, but it wasn't really a big candle. We do have news 10 past 10. 2 out of 3 on the scale, and that's about it really for today. So just keep an eye on the market around 10 past 10 today. Okay, so looking at the daily, you can see we have high volume coming in into the 200 moving average. Let me just select pen. So we've got this purple line, this is the 200 moving average, and we've had a bit of a massive push down last few days on increasing volume as well, and we come in, we touched the 200 and we've bounced, and we're kind of sitting on an inside day, so probably see a little bit less volatility today. What I do quite like though is this rejection on this area here around 52.80. So let's just go down into the hourly. Okay, so we can see we come up into that area already in the pre-market, and so what I'm really watching for is it to come back up into that region for the rejection down, or I'm looking for the break and retest of the pre-market high down. So they're my two areas I'm watching for today. If the buyers come back in and we push it all the way back up, I'm going to be watching for the rejection around 54.36. We do have a psychological number as well at the pre-market high, just to note that, and that's the 53,000 mark. So 5,300, sorry, not 53,000, 5,300 area. It's a psychological number as well. We can see came down, hesitated, went through, came back up, retested it, and we've yet to retest it again. So that's why I quite like that for the rejection. And I think that's it. Not really many levels today. Don't really fancy any bounces, not while the market's in this big down move. And obviously this is a key area from this pivot as well, which we've broken through. And maybe potentially, if we do push down, we can watch for the bounce down in the 50,400, 5,000 area, this area here. And 5,100 is also an area of confidence as well. We can watch. That's our next pivot down, which we haven't quite touched yet. Okay, that's it really for order flow. That's it really for ES. We'll come back and look at the order flow. Let's go through the levels. SPY, same really, break and retest of pre-market low at 518.30 area, and then we can watch for the rejection at 524 to 525. If we get above this area, we've got this big gap, and so we can watch potentially for rejection up to 530 to 532 as well. And I think that's all I'll be watching on SPY. Again, I'll take it using ES or MES contracts. And just looking left about as well to see if there's any confluence. We're right at an area of confluence right now. We've got tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, but we can be watching. I think 500 is the most. Let's just mark that up. So 500, that's a psychological number, big round number as well. Let's just put it in. And that's the area, the only area I'll be watching for the bounce. So let's just put my alert in. And I think that's it really for SPY. Same as ES, SPX. 5,000 is a psychological number, a bit like SPY 500, so we can watch this area. Let's just put an alert in down there as well, so one of them will trigger first. That's the only bounce area, and we can probably watch yesterday's high for the double top rejection. We're going to be opening out where we're going to open, not too far away from where we ended, so we'll be opening around 5,200, so that's also a break and retest area for this big pivot, and what used to be demand is now supply. And I think that's it. So key area is 5,000, and then potentially watch 5200, that area there for the rejection as well, and that's coming off of this pivot, but with confirmation, so it's got to reject it and change trend. NQ, so still quite like this area, 18500 for the rejection. We've not quite made it up there yet, and then if we do get over that, this area above 18885, and bounce wise, that's exactly the bounce place I was going to recommend, 17400. Look on the 4-hour chart, and then the next area for the bounce will be this area here, and that's at 17,000. But we are a long way from that, but then we were a long way from where we were lows of yesterday and we got down there in a day. So this is a good bounce area now. That's hard to go long though, so I still quite like the rejection up here 18885, and then the rejection at 18500, and then keep an eye on this area for a bounce as a scalp. QQQ, just looking left, looking where areas of confluence, that area there happens to be where we went yesterday. Potentially watch for a bounce down there. We can watch for the break and retest of the pre-market low short, and then a rejection down at pre-market high as well. And that's all I'm watching really. And big volume shelf as well in this area. So that's our volume. So that's our volume shelf there. So we can watch this area here for the rejection, and that is 443.50. Potential bounce at 419 or 420, and then the break and retest of 435.83 short. Okay, oil, crude oil next. Look at that. We've had this trend line in place for a long time now, and yesterday, Monday, so it came in, bounced exactly off of that. Hopefully somebody took that. Came right into this level as well, rejected that, and we're coming back down. So we can watch for the break of this trend line and the retest short, and that will be around 71.50, this region, so let's just mark it up. Or we can look for a double bottom off that bottom trend line and watch it push up, and that's it really. If we get back up here, we are in a bit of an hourly downtrend, so we can put in a series of lower highs, lower lows, as you can see there. Equal high, come back down, lower high. So potentially we can watch for the breakdown and then the retest into that region to continue the trend, and that's all I'll be watching for. So I'm going to put an alert in place for it to break that trend line. I'm not really looking to go long, just for break and retest short. Gold, still looking pretty bullish. Let's just draw a trend line in. Just so we've got a guide where the market could be going. So we can play this trend, this channel or this flag, so we can watch for a bounce around this area or rejection up here, and then we'll work out which way it's going to go by keeping an eye on it. We may not even get to the end of this wedge formation, and we may see it just break down and continue down, but we're using it as a guide. You know, we held it there, so, and we've got a level at 24.62, so potentially we could see it just come into that area for the bounce. And we've got the point of control directly below as well, so this is where all the volume's trading right now at 2400. So I quite like 2400 for the bounce again, as it's a psychological number. But difficult one at the moment because we're right in between where we want to be, we're right halfway between this wedge. So we could still pretty bullish on this one. Doesn't look like it's going to be in a downtrend. just putting in, all I'm seeing right now is this move up and then a sideways flag to potentially continue the trend back up again. So that's the areas I'm watching on there. RTY. Okay, so we lost that pattern, so I need to start cleaning up some of these lines. So we're right in a kind of bounce off this trend line as well. But then again, if you draw enough lines, you can see a bounce. Let's just clean that one, we don't need that. So you could say this is the break and retest, which we never really got a break and retest of this trend. And you could say that's what it is now. Let's get rid of that, we don't need that anymore. Yeah, not really good levels here really. I think if we can come back down, break below pre-market low, we can look for the short. Or if we get to pre-market high, see what the fibs are saying. Yeah, we've got a little bit of movement until we hit the 382 and the 50%. So potentially there's a long there, but it's going to be hard. We're right at the point of control right now as well, so we could treat this as a bounce area, or we can break down below and use it as resistance. So I'm not going to be watching RTY today. This has broken the trend, so I quite like if it comes back up and retests the point of control, which is 39,600, just where this orange line is. So I'm watching this area for a rejection. Up into that, rejection down. So let's just pop my trend, my alert in. It's a level we're watching on the hourly as well. Big area of volume as well. There's a volume shelf and a point of control, and it's a trend line, so there's lots of reasons why I want to be looking for the short up there. So keep an eye on YM, which is the Dow Jones, around 39,600 area for the rejection. But it'll have to be with confirmation as well, like a break of trend. We want to see it come in, sit there and then reject, maybe pull back and come down. So that's what I'm watching for. So keep an eye on that. I don't fancy any bounces yet, unless we get down to this region, 37,800. So that's the best play for the Dow Jones. Bitcoin has gained a bit back. I added yesterday around same level I added before, around about here. I think it was 50,000. My Alexa, when it wakes me up with my alarm in the morning, even though I'm normally awake before it comes on, it tells me the Bitcoin levels, and when I woke up it said Bitcoin is at 50,000, and I literally jumped out of bed. Change that back down. I literally jumped out of bed. I couldn't even read my screen. Went to my Bitcoin app, purchased some more because I was watching 50,000. That was an area I was watching for a ad. I think by the time I got in and could actually read the screen, it's probably closer to the lows of yesterday. But so I've added recently. I still think on the daily we are looking extremely bullish, and what I'm seeing at the moment is this big cup pattern, cup and handle pattern, and then all I'm seeing is we're just getting Bitcoin at a discounted price down here. I'm waiting for it to continue the move back up. So that's why I was happy to add. I added up here. I was anticipating a breakout, which it did happen, but it came back down again. So I'm going to probably look to add if we come back down into the 50,000 area again. It's not a massive account, but it's just a little bit here and there I added to it. I normally add once or twice a month, and over the last few years I've been adding. When we were coming down, when we were selling off here, I started adding around here, I think it was, and I just kept adding every month, and my average price was around this region. And then I sold when we got up here. I mean, I basically used volume on this chart as a guide to sell, so I got out 3 times and we saw 3 lots of volume, and now I'm adding where I'm seeing volume as well, because that usually shows you where the signs of reversals. Okay, let's go back to ES. Oh, sorry, let's just do levels for today on Bitcoin. Inside day, difficult. So the only areas I'm watching, 50,000 for a bounce, and 66,000 for the rejection to continue that trend. Let's look at order flow on ES. Just reminds us of our levels. Let's go back down to the hourly. So we're coming into pre-market low 52.30 for the break and retest short, or we're going to watch pre-market high for the break and for the retest short as well. So, and that's 5300. Flicking over to my order flow screen.